get the... And let me just set up my chat here on my phone. So we've got here a top 32 match between Baron Fell and Evan. It is a Phoenix on Phoenix mirror. They are 5 cards total different. In the or 7 cards total, 5 in the conflict deck, 2 on Dynasty side. The differences are just going to be Baron Fell's on 3 Adept of the Waves. Evan's only got 1. Evan's got an Imperial Palace and a 3rd Atsuko. On the conflict side, Baron Fell's got 3 Ningyos and 2 Tattooed Wonders and 2 Bonsais. Evan has no Ningyos, 1 Wanderer, 1 Bonsai, but has a 3rd Katana, 2 Ancient Masters, and 2 Censures. Let me tell him to get going. Both on Dragon Splash. This is, pretty standard lists. Y'all can hear me okay. Alright, so it looks like Baron Fell's on going first and is on top. I have no strong opinions on Flareon whenever Evan watches this pack. I'm a little too old to have really called on to Pokemon. I was already playing Magic when yes, so the deck name says. So Evan's mulling 3 from Dynasty, Fell mulled 2. Yeah, both of them have 2 Yojimbos in the deck. I'm not sure quite when that came back into it. I have been mostly playing IMS decks myself. Cheap characters available on both sides, so should be a fairly good start. Evan might choose to invest in... No, Evan's actually just not investing. Okay, that's totally reasonable if he has a couple of conflict characters. Or even if he's just got a display of power, honestly. Evan's very willing to just pass turn 1. It seems like, I think he did that in the round of 64 as well. So we're going to see a military attack of some kind here. I guess if he's got his own court games, it doesn't really matter if Evan's got one. Yeah, I don't hate the play style. So yeah, he does go political. That's pretty much just a clear signal that he's got the court games. Evan doesn't even... Or Evan draws with his first action. They trade court games in a completely unsurprising move. We'll see if Fell plays into it further. It wouldn't be the worst to get the break here. I don't really want to have to display just an Earth Ring. Okay, Evan goes ahead and plays a Shrine Maiden at home. Gets 2 out of 3 and Against the Waves and a Cloud the Mind. Obviously has the option to just Against the Waves to bow the Adept of the Waves if you want to start that sub-game early. He's up on Fate if he wants to do that. I mean, if that's his conflict character he was leaning on to have an attack this turn, probably have to play it. Just to not get, 1 in 9 dice rolled out. Evan's thinking about it. He does play the Against the Waves to bow. Looks like Fell has one of his on. Evan gets to decide whether this particular resource trade continues. Does decide to go ahead and do so. Given that he didn't spend any fate this turn, this is probably a favorable exchange. They just trade the box and 2 fate. I mean, it's a feature of the mirror. I can understand where they're both incentivized. We'll see if Evan's got another one. Well, I mean, there's real incentives to try and use the box every turn. Evan does play another one. Fell's down to 1 fate. He does pass it. And now we'll see what Evan wants to attack with this Shrine Maiden. Fire or Earth are both reasonable. There's no fear of display here. Void doesn't get you that much because of 2 fate on the Adept. Yeah, Fell's down to 1 fate. You don't have to worry about display, is what I was saying. Now, I mean, he's back up to 2 now. But even so, like, if Tadaka's not involved, a display on the Earth Ring is optimal. It seems very unlikely he'll invest enough to break into this. There is an Against the Waves on the other side, though, that he did not play in the previous conflict. Oh, we've seen half the games Against the Waves played on turn 1. So he's going to threaten a break here. Counterattack or lose a card to ring. Goes fire. It's the only ring that really makes sense. See if Evan really wants to do anything about this. Display decent here, gets you the favor, and dishonors this Adept of the Waves. So I expect we'll see it played. Happen. Does not go with the used Fertile Fields, instead hitting the Upholding Authority. 6 cards in hand, that's probably okay. We're going to see the display. We do not see display. I believe the timing on that is before Upholding Authority. So. We'll see what he gets with this Upholding Authority, but we're going to end up... Well, Evan does have Ancient Masters, so he could still snipe favor. Gets a Let Go. Only 1 copy of it. Yeah, that's not that hand. That's not a great upholding authority. Okay, so no favor gained. Evan's up 4 fade and 4 cards, but down a break and substantially down on board. Um, I'd say it's pretty even, all told. The turn definitely could have gone a lot worse on both sides there. We'll see what Evan does with these provinces. I have to imagine at least 2 of these characters are getting flushed. I'm a big believer in flushing everything you're not 100% buying the next turn. You want to get those libraries. You want to get Tadaka. There is a known Cloud the Mind on the other side, given they didn't discard that and instead went for Let Go. I have to assume he got what goes in hand. Yeah, that's not a great flip for Evan. Don't. He's got enough fate. He can buy 2 characters if he'd like. What mix he wants? Interesting. Eugenia's not all that imposing at the moment. Goes for the Atsuko. Will actually could buy the Suki, though given his playstyle, I expect we'll see a pass. And 2 faded Solemn Scholar. Yeah, Evan passes. That's kind of predictable. Yeah, both players pass. Mia Mystic's not really buying without someone. Baron does not have Censure. Evan has 2 copies. It's obviously off for this turn either way. It's one of the small differences in their decks. Evan's also got 2 Ancient Masters, and then Bell's got Ingos, and Evan is kind of the main. Dynasty differences are even smaller. Evan's only running 1 Adept of the Waves versus a playset from Fell, and uses that space to get up to a 3rd Atsuko and Imperial Palace in. Palace will be okay if it flips in this matchup. Would like to turn those censures on. It's not quite a 70 or 75. I'm thinking of magic numbers. 80 card mirror, but it's like 73 cards. Full province. Makes the void attack. This threatens a break with Atsuko's own ability. Undefended, gonna draw a card. That's he might as well put up a sign saying display of power. The court games will push him up to breaking as well. Seen 1 on the other side. I don't even know if you play it back here. If you're planning on displaying. But he goes ahead and play and unhonors Atsuko. Atsuko's own ability pumps her up to 4. There's a pass. And I assume, yeah, there it is. We'll go to even on breaks, but instead of voiding off that adept, Atsuko goes down to 1 fate on himself. And I have a bit of a choice here on what ring to attack back with. Earth isn't the worst. It turns on the Scholar in case Evan doesn't get into the next conflict. And isn't the end of the world to have displayed in turn. Air also isn't that bad at all, really, to have display a powered and you get a fade off of it. So if you're going to just go for the fade, I would go for air. No reason to go for water here, and he's just wanting to use to get a break. But even so, even if he's got, we know he has at least one Ningyo in hand off the upholding authority. But even so, it's a reasonable attack here. Okay, we're going to see a political attack on Earth. Like, fine with that. Evan's going to get a couple more fade off of this, though. Now let's see if we see the third court games on Evan's side to push this down to a conflict. If he has it, I would kind of expect him to play it here just for Tadaka insurance particular front. We just go to no more court games the rest of this game. That's probably okay. Okay, he goes ahead and hits the gets the waves on Atsuko. There is the option on the other side to just do the same back. Yeah, I would have expected clarity on Atsuko in the last conflict if Evan had it. Don't play clarity on the Solemn Scholar here. Maybe you go in with the Adept and use it, but this is still kind of the resource trading part of the game. It's a supernatural storm, which is nice. Evan holds the Satsuko back on defense, which is just going to get it coverted. And yeah, now the water attack is actually quite good. The ring doesn't actually do anything, but it doesn't do anything for either player. The ring straightens the Solemn Scholar, but he favor anyway. He could display to win favor, but that doesn't. Ancient Master does get him up to tying favor for another turn, but given that there's no censure on the other side, there's no. I mean, there's the chance Conjo ends the game by flipping on Fell's side, but I don't. Oh God. So double Embrace the Void on this two faded Solemn Scholar. That three Embrace the Voids on this Solemn Scholar. Since two of them are Evans, he now effectively has the ability to win this. Basically, whoever reacts first usually loses, but now Evan can react and Bell can react and then react. So Fell is advertising that he has another one, but doesn't know if it's worth it anymore. I feel like it's worth it just for story equity, but maybe not in top 32 of a single elimination bracket. Um, yeah. I assume Evan is considering whether or not to play an Ancient Master at this point, is the reason for waiting. No, okay, he's displaying. Okay, well, the display is, or not display, consumed by Fire's right. It's, break even on Fate in that he's removing 3 Fate worth of, 3 Fate off of characters in exchange for Fate out of his pool. They both use all the reactions on Embrace the Voids. Uh, Not a game ending consumed by any means, but solid. They're now even on cards. Evan's up 2 Fate, and he's going to have an Atsuko left with no Fate on her. Fel's going to be first player. He's going to have the favor. Or no, okay, they're going to tie on favor. Yeah, it gives them board advantage. They do tie on favor. Um, Not a huge deal unless Fel flips the Hanjo district. Uh, but Fel is going to have a new Gina against this board if he wants it. And then Evan's stuck with the choice of whether or not to cloud that. Fel also, can make up. Well, now they're even on Fate anyway, but he get the first crack at this 2 Fate air ring if he wants it. Well, those are not entirely interesting flips. So Akanjo does flip on a broken province on Evan's side. So that's not great for him, but he does see a secluded shrine. Um, yeah, I think this one's still a little too close to call. That is not a good flip. Evan, not where you want to see that calendar land from outside, though. I would expect him to take favor this turn, and the Conjo is just going to be off. The rest is just going to be gone. Um, yeah. It is kind of an interesting first attack here. You can attack Void to just force Atsuko to leave the board, or this Ancient Master to leave the board, but then you're leaving a 2 Fate ring for the other side. No assassination worries here. I don't think either player was playing it. In fact, I looked at the lists earlier. Neither player has assassination, so this 3 Fated Suki decent. Although we do know, at least according to his claims, that Fel's got to embrace the void to start leeching some of that. Also, attacking water from Evan's side kind of stinks for Suki because Fel's got Ninjo's and he doesn't. Both players keep drawing 5 because, yeah, that's what you do. And let's see how this goes. So both players have 1 against the waves left in the deck. Fel's also got 1 in discard, so that's another advantage on his side. He can definitely get 1 if he needs it. Evan does have a Storm in discard that got hit with an earlier. So yeah, there's that Embrace the Void. He wasn't lying. I mean, he's got the Fate to consume now. I don't know if he would. I mean, I guess if you're only paying 2 for it, fine, but I would wait for something a little threatening. Alright, well, I'm interested to see what attack he makes here. Shrine Maiden grabs a Clarity and a Cloud the Mind, but shows his last court game, so we know Fel won't have one in shuffle. Evan's potentially got one left. Alright, the Shrine Maiden's going to poke air. That's pretty reasonable attack. See what's behind, well, I mean, they already know. Both of them presumably put Corey Moore in. Meditation. Had to do some math there, but he did know what it was. Obviously does nothing against this Shrine Maiden. Solid value on this, however it goes. Either you just get an air ring, get to bow one of the characters, and do fate from the process. Does have two bonsais as well. So not defending this at all risks just losing your province. Yeah, Evan's taking time to think, and I don't blame him. This is actually a tough defense decision. You don't really want to fall behind two provinces this turn. It's likely Fel's going to have a board advantage going into next turn. He does throw Atsuko in the way. So now, from Fel's side, you don't really care that much about the ring. You're probably not getting favor anyway. Maybe you just pass and take this forced defense as value. Yep, that's precisely what ends up happening. No way to know if he had the bonsai or not. It seems likely. And we're going to see a poke in return on fire. Evan knows that this is safe from an opposing court games because Fel is out of them. Obviously, Eugenia could pretty safely defend, or could defend this and probably win it, but then there's not a good attack back. Conflict character, even with a conflict character, he doesn't. Chooses not to defend. We may see a display of power here. Evan could try and put together a break here if he really wanted to, but it seems like you'd have to invest in that. He's going to go for it, though. The Ornate Fan can play a Supernatural Storm card, so that's enough. That's it. No need to fear assassination here. you got to think there's a pretty good chance this is getting displayed. Um, one's already been played on the other side, but pretty good chance he has the second. Yep, there it is. So rather than dishonoring Ugino, which I assume is what was about to happen, get honored. We do know that Fel has a clarity from that Shrine Maiden as well. Oh, and there's another Shrine Maiden. Full Ancestral Recall, getting a Cloud the Mind, a Supernatural, and a Clarity. Um, that's the sort of Shrine Maiden flip that can decide game. Goes full Earth. Gonna have a Clarity. I mean, obviously, you just got another one. We have to. I would assume we're gonna see it on here. No chance of Evan being able to bow down the Eugenia either. He could have an Against the Waves in hand, but only one, and Fel can box it back. He plays the Clarity out of hand. Evan might not even get favor right now. They're going to be tied on it, 4-4 out of this. So he may have to display this just for that reason. If he wants next turn to be on. It's kind of going to be a rough one just because he's not even going to have a very good attack here. And so Evan loses one of his clouds to match the let go that was discarded on the other side earlier. All right, he wasn't able to resolve a display, so he is actually just gonna make thing of a chump attack into what turns out to be meditations with the water ring to honor the Suki. He's got the other ancient master in hand. He can snipe favor because he will be down 3 rings to 2 shrine. That's assuming he loses, but I especially attacking water. There's can win the spell doesn't want to. We know Fel has at least going probably more now. Yeah, Evan's passing. He has to know that just as I do. Forcing him to use the Ninjos would not be the worst. But you're really just doing this to honor something. Let's see if he's got the other Ancient Master to hype the favor here. Nope, Fel gets it. So that finally goes to one side or the other. Yeah, Bell's got a pretty strong advantage here going into this next turn. The right set of flips could end it here, like if he gets Conjo. It is Corey Mori under the box, so he can't count on just being able to play out all the Ninjos for free. But if he can start building up towards a big set of storms. All right, well, Tadaka comes down on Evan's side. So we'll see the cloud fight here. Evan had played a Let Go, I believe, on that Embrace the Void earlier. Yeah. Played one, so two more in deck. The other side he's facing down a Secluded Shrine Solemn Scholar combo, if Phil wants to go for that, which is pretty good. So Tadaka's just going to be off, of course, because of that. Yeah, no need to. You're right. I blanked on that part of it. Yeah, they both have Secluded Shrines, so Tadaka is effectively the overpriced 5/3 until those go away. Which still might be the purchase over at Tsuko. Yeah, it depends on how many storms Spell has. I think we saw one off of a Shrine Maiden. You have to assume there's a pretty good chance he has at least two. I'm inclined to think he has a Bonsai from that poke attack from a Shrine Maiden player. Like, I feel like there's a pretty good chance the game is going to end on the second. Evan's going to have a chance to make an attack, may or may not do so. But there's a break. Like, and the Solemn Scholar with 0 fade on it. So he's just going to go for buying out all of them. So Evan can kill, one of these of Bell's choice with just loitering attack. You have to assume that you're probably eating a consumed anyway. Maybe he's just like keeping the option to play his Ninjos out for fate once it gets flipped off of water. Storms are going to be for 3 if there's an attack here for Void. Which there should probably be an attack here on Void. Fel does not have Censure. Fel has 0 copies of Censure. Evan's got 2 copies of Censure that have been dead the entire game because he hasn't been able to favor. We've officially reached Fel having half his deck in his hand as he gets to a hand size of 20. Evan's 16 pales in comparison. I think you're better off attacking Void and forcing an Ugina trigger than you are flipping the attack at you to Void. No, I guess not. It's going to be a difference of 5 at most with the 4 storms plus the 1 base skill. Whereas Atsuko can swing it by 6 if you get everybody in there. Yeah, so Evan's gonna end up just passing. Oh yeah, and Solemn Scar can just down. Got a way to do something about that. It wouldn't matter. Um, so yeah, I assume we're gonna see no attack here. Yeah. Um, we're probably gonna see an attack on water coming back. That's the first action is gonna be make it void. Ooh, Tattooed Wanderer. Uh, I mean, there's a favorable round on the other side that doesn't really matter. I might have just saved that for more force. Um, like Evans just playing this turn to try and not lose anyway. I mean, it is, but I don't think. I don't think. Evan, yeah, okay, he's saying it was dumb. I do not think Evan can be in a position where he cannot have both characters in the conflict resolution turn. And it's entirely possible that two force here, because this ring is going to stay military, it's almost certainly got to switch to void as the first action to keep Ningos from coming in for free. And if he ends up not being able to break by two, then this is going to feel real bad. It is probably, depending on how many storms he's got, this is either going to be pretty close or it's like it might just not be close at all. This might be a completely crushing situation. Evan's going to want to put off using Atsuko as long as possible anyway to force some conflict characters in. I mean, clarity works both ways, though. No, I mean, it works for both players. Like, Evan could just as easily have them, and his individual characters are mostly better than Cells. Fell almost certainly has a bonsai at this point. He's only got 5 cards left in deck, and he's running 2. So Evan's going to try and hold out without using the favorable grounds. He plays the clarity, even though it's military. Okay. I mean, it's protection against Evan's remaining against the waves, but you're against the waves and discard is already protection against that. Yes, there's the favorable grounds. So he's too short of breaking, although truthfully, much more than that. Probably gotta think about letting go of this cloud at some point. Yep, there it is. Start seeing these storms. Now there's another cloud. Unless Evan has his last let go, that's probably enough. There's a fine katana to get it to breaking. Hasn't even had the storm yet. Yep, there's one. I mean, there's another +4 even. I think that's going to do it. I mean, Evan does have a cloud mind. Safella is going to need to not have. He's going to need something else. Like another cloud the mind. That one will definitely stick. We've seen all of the let goes. I mean, Evan could have his own bonsai. He has it as one of. Then he would still need something and need Bell to not have another storm or any other pumps. It all feels very unlikely. A little bit of table talk. Yeah, I can't really imagine a combination of cards. Like, I can construct something, but it seems. Um, Tattooed Wanderer comes in. Supernatural Storm gets played with box. Evan's got a katana. He's got a storm or the bonsai, then he can force another card. Oh god. Storm gets another supernatural storm and the third one for Fell, so there's two more. Um so in fact Fell did not have the pieces, but he unless they were literally the bottom two cards of the deck, he was gonna get to them. Uh, Evan's going to make him, click the buttons correctly by playing both sides of this storm as a bonsai. Um, but each of Fells are worth 4 instead of having to play 2 of them for 4. think this Ugina is contributing like 26 of this force now. And that's going to do it. Fell's going to take this one. Round of 16 opponent's going to be I believe it was a Kyuden Bayushi Scorpion deck. Should be interesting. I've never been impressed by that deck, but you know, there's things you can do with it that are fun at least and interesting. Thank y'all for watching the Mighty Phoenix Mirror. This was pretty typical for it. Evan saying he went too hard with Against the Waves early. I kind of agree with that. I didn't like the turn one trades very much. Their side though, I thought they were kind of okay on both sides. But Evan actually did push it a little harder and had one in this card. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. See y'all in the top 16 perhaps. And have a good night.